Well, g'day guys, just another quick flood update. This might be the last update before it goes back to the regular videos that were before the flood. So it might be a bit weird while we're preparing for some rain and not preparing for a flood, but a couple of things I will just explain. This property where my house is separate from the main farm, so it's just a little sort of a hobby block. So all the equipment here is ours, not tied to the farm as such, the main farm as such. So that's why there's some bits and pieces you wouldn't have seen, like the truck and you would have seen the Massey at sowing time. But yeah, so in the shed here, it was all probably 600 mil deep. Brad's just over here getting the forklift going. So so all the farm, main farm, everyone's coming over here to help, and there might be a few that head over to some nearby people that might need some help too, just to try and get the bulk of it all cleaned up before it starts to stink. So thankfully it didn't seem like there was water in the oil. Brad's just started it all up and just gonna check the fluids, see if they're milky after running it a bit, just to see whether it needs it. But we probably will be doing an oil change soon anyway, but just as long as there's not too much that we can't just use it for today at least. Well guys, it's just about lunchtime, so everyone's just heading over to have some lunch. But yeah, we've got quite a few bodies around today, which is a big help. And yeah, there's been a couple other places that have just checked out. A few people called in, and yeah, so we've got a bit more information. Yeah, no, it's certainly the biggest anyone's ever seen in recorded history for this area, this little section that we live in along the road here. So this particular creek, that when it busts, it comes through here. My place here, it's never been that full. So yeah, it was going into houses that it's never touched before. So, but yeah, then all that water ends up heading towards Moree, and that joins up with the main rivers that flood when Moree floods. So it's starting to go down in Moree. By the time this video comes out, should be down a fair way. But yeah, there's a lot of people were evacuated, and houses that went under in there. So yeah, feeling and thinking of those guys dealing with that in there. It's not good. We got off reasonably lightly here. There's a few fences damaged obviously, but they were still damaged from the flood last time basically. So yeah, but no, we've managed to wash out all the floor in the shed here. We've got Brad was over here, was working on all the motorbikes and quads and things like that. Just changing oils, the forklift too, yeah, changing oils, checking them all out, making sure they're all good. So yeah, that's one less job. But yeah, basically we've washed out most of this in here. So just let a few things dry out and keep cleaning up, and then we'll probably head into our sort of more personal sheds and that this afternoon. They just need a bit of a just a tidy up. So oh yeah, you can see there's the watermark there. So yeah, that's a good 600 mil, if not a little bit more, maybe 650, 700 mils that has gone through the whole shed. But we did pick up a lot of stuff. You can see here we emptied the bottom shelves, but we didn't expect it to get it up into the second shelf there, so we've lost a bit of stuff there, but it all can it all can be replaced. Anyway, that's a bit of an update. So yeah, we've got our pile of stuff out here. Let that dry for a bit, and whatever's rubbish we can throw out later, and whatever's good we'll put back in the shed.
Well, good morning guys, it's Phil here. It's been a bit of an interesting night. We've had about 100 mil in 6 hours, and we had 55 the day before that. So everything's primed, creeks, rivers, they're all primed, ready to flood. So we'll go and inspect the damage. I don't think I've seen as much water locally than this before. We'll go and have a bit of a drive. Still raining at the moment. It looks like it's clearing up out to the west a bit, so I think we've got a bit of reprieve coming, which will be good. looks like the canola has stayed upright, so that is good. There's just a few areas that were down already. Doesn't look like there's any more. We've got a fair bit of water coming over the road here in this causeway. It's not broken the bank yet. Probably got another half a foot to go. That looks alright. Another crossing. Morning, Jamie.
Hello.
It's been an interesting 6 to 8 hours, hasn't it? All the way, all working there. Good. About a foot of water coming in to this top dam. Supposed to be a road there. Water's coming out of that dam, just pounding the waterway network here, and it's gone over the road, over there, into the canola. It's meant to stay on this side of that bank. Well, I better get in these stoits and try and fix that busted out bank on the road where it's flowing out into the paddock. Give this 4-in-1 a bit of a test. We updated it from the original 4-in-1 because it was just weak as water, and this one's a Challenger bucket, so it's a bit stronger, and yeah, it looks nice. So anyway, we'll get into it. Drop there. Very close to coming over the road here too. Hasn't as of yet, so I'll leave that bit. Oh yeah, he's running over it, that's not good. So we're going to do the same thing, try and block it. Deep this water here. Oh, it's made a big mess here. Turned our crop into a river and it's going straight over the bank second crossing's managed to hold now, so hopefully it'll just recede now, the water, and we can fix it up once it all dries out. This back dam, I think you can see the mark on the side of the dam wall. I think it was up about 6 inches higher than this, so it's dropping slowly. Gotta find the road here. Through here. Pretty deep. Looks like a little levee bank worked for the moment. This is rough enough for the gully. Don't know how deep that is. It's still got water in it. That's pretty deep. Well, folks, Peter here. This is it probably doesn't show up, but there's water kilometres wide out there, and that's our local creek that's come up with the 5+ inches early this morning in about 6 hours, round about from midnight to 6 o'clock this morning. And there's levels being achieved now that have never been seen in living memory anyway. So we're very fortunate. We're on the hill here, but Matt's his house is under threat, as are many others. So there's very, very interesting times and a bit of tough times, hardship for a lot of people, not just us, all over the state, the nation. So yeah, very sombre news, but that's the way it is. And so we continue to put one step in front of the other, be patient and thankful for what we do have.
Well guys, it's the day after everyone was over at around my place there cleaning up, and yeah, it's all going good there. It's the bulk of it's all done, so yeah, a lot of weight off our shoulders there, just to at least get the bulk of it cleaned. But I'm actually back up here at the main farm, so we're able to get back up here with the roads and everything. And yeah, it's basically the first work day, trying to get back into it. But I've got Dad over here fiddling around. So he's actually fiddling here with his new little trailer that he got a few weeks ago. I don't know if it has been on the video yet, but just to take around the side-by-sides or quads or whatever, just makes it a bit easier. So, but basically this last event that went through, I don't think anyone that we know has ever said, well, particularly for this area of, well, because we're a little bit out of town obviously, but the sort of the creek that is near basically all the properties, isn't it? It's attached to them one way or another. Yeah. But it's it has never flooded like this, it would appear. Like no one's seen it get as high as it did. But
I haven't. And our creek, the one that's near us, or the dominant creek, is always, we've had it so that the ones either side, north and south, have copped their share too, but this one, its catchment seemed to suffer the most from quick rain in about 6 hours, and right back up to the east. So there was a big catchment, and it sort of bulldozed the creeks to either side of it and became the dominant one. And yeah, we've, to the north of our house here, overlooking where you got flooded out, which you're 12 k's away as the crow flies at your house, we could see water coming down from the east, and it just was a huge expanse. You could see it for kilometres. And I'd never seen it that.
It's been flooding in Moree since Sunday afternoon, basically, and it's still above the major flood level in there.
And I just went into town now to get some bits and pieces, and they're just starting to get around. There's still roadblocks in Moree, and that was, what did you say, Sunday?
I think it was Sunday afternoon it peaked.
This Tuesday afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. So it's only like last night that started to go down.
So I might throw up a bit of footage of Dad's trip to town. Just see, yeah, it's you got to expect it living here, but it was, in my situation at least where I live, it was incomprehensible to even think that the water would get under my house, and it's never ever been there before. While people have been living there, so that's probably 70, 80 years maybe. So yeah, just absolutely crazy.
And I've never seen the road damage ever before, like we've got now. Like it's washed away in places that I've never seen it go before. It's interesting in it. Nature's got a way of getting your attention, and you can suddenly realise that you can be pretty insignificant or feel insignificant in a way, but we know that that's not exactly the case. We're here for a reason and a purpose, so we just need to remain positive and do what we can to help others and ourselves. A lot of suffering out to the west. Huge floods going out there, and some guys, they may not recover. They can't, even if they've got a crop that hasn't been washed away, it'll be weeks and weeks before they can even get their harvesting equipment on there. So.
I actually just read a news article that said that there was estimated at least 140,000 hectares is lost, sort of in our growing region. That equates to, they thought, would be about $150 million worth of lost income, lost crop. So that's nasty. And yeah, like out west it's all flat, so the water just stays around for ages. It takes ages for it to move along, and yeah, it makes it pretty bad. So yeah, thoughts and prayers with those guys out there. That's a tough thing to go through. Well guys, I pinned Phil down. He's the
You've done well.
he's the one that he lives in one of the houses here on the main farm, so he was here to see everything that was happening on this property.
I had a sleepless night thinking every raindrop is runoff, so was thinking of all the weak points where we probably got problems. So being undulating country on the main farm and the development block, it got away pretty quick, and all the crops looking good still. And then we've just got the other property that's a bit flatter country, that the local creek got out, broke its banks and got through the probably 200 acres of the linseed and wheat and barley that is probably close to going over the heads or the grain. So
that's where Brad lives.
Yeah.
That's where the linseed, wheat and barley were. Yep.
Yeah. So it, but yeah, it went up and down within sort of that 30 hours. So, and the crop wasn't quite mature. It was probably 10 days off harvesting. So I think, touch wood, the grain will still be all right. And it's remarkable how well it stood up, really.
So the canola on the main farm here was not a lot of it's gone down or anything, has it? It's all just pretty standing.
Bit weathered just from so much rain. It was the ripest out of all our crops. Like, it was just ready. I did a I did a sample the day before the rain, and it was 14%.
And it needs to be 8, doesn't it?
Needs to be 8, yeah. So
But
we're getting ready to get in there and get it off before the next lot of rain on Monday. So whatever we can, I think.
Waiting for it to dry.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually mention, but you did get about 50 tonne of barley off, which was the seed. That was the seed variety that, yeah, was pretty important to get off because there's not a lot of it about. So you had a crack the night before the rain.
Yeah, yep.
And you got about 50 tonne of that off, but it was a bit fairly wet, so it mightn't work. But you got to have a crack.
Yeah, well, I'm not a very good vlogger because it would have made good content. You know, cranking up the headers for the first time for the season. But anyway, I was all a bit mad.
Nail him in the comments about how slack he is.
It was good to get something off there. That was all the lowest point of that paddock too, so it was all underwater after we'd harvested, so it was good to get it off. Yeah, so, but no, I was sort of hoping for the best but expecting the worst with the damage and stuff, and especially at the development block, being steeper country and quite friable dirt. It's very vulnerable to soil erosion. And
the big question: how the contour banks hold up?
Yeah, it went really well. Yeah, I come away very, very happy because, yeah, there's a few areas where we knew, like I think I mentioned to you about the waterways where we need to fill them up and put rock in them.
Just haven't had time to do that.
Yeah. So and it made a mess. It would have made a mess to get in there to do it with it being so wet.
So the dozers paid themselves off.
Yeah. Like some of those banks was sort of 2/3 capacity. So
that's not bad for a freak rain event. What, 150 mil odd or 130 mil in 6 hours or something.
Yeah. So no, very, very happy with that.
The crops down at the development block, they're all pretty early. So they're later. So they're still very, very much green. So they should all recover fine from the drenching.
Yeah, no, they're all looking really well.
And then the lease block, it's similar, like it's a bit up and down country too, but there was all that work with the dozers that was done last year with all the contours. That, I think you went for a drive around that, didn't you, the other day? And that, how'd that look?
Yeah, it all held up really well, yeah. So very, very happy with that too.
I need to teach you to fly a drone. Give you a drone, don't I? Get some footage of water running.
Yeah. How much time do I have to do that? Not much.
Yeah, I come here and I goof around most of the day and watch people work.
I guess someone's got to do it.
Yeah. No, so all in all, it's obviously we're feeling for the guys that are losing a fair bit of crop. There's fellas out west that are probably 50%. They won't even harvest because it's just going to take so long to dry that they're probably not even going to get a header on. So,
well, yeah, I heard some guys that were 50% before this flooding event, and some are talking nothing, so they won't get anything. But
so it's
I think with that flood water in the floodplains, it just takes a while for it to get off the crop. And so I think if you can get the water off relatively quick, and it's not right, the crop, it sort of has a chance. But it's we're very, very blessed really with the position we're in. I think for us it's going to be more the ongoing weather in the next month that's going to see whether that does us up, like gets us unstuck there, because it's just more the grain quality. If this rain continues every week, we just won't be able to get onto it in time, and it'll be the lower quality. Canola's probably going to be prone to shattering and a bit of shot and sprung if we keep this weather, like this weather keeps coming. So, but all in all, we're in a good spot, and we're thinking of the fellas that aren't so fortunate, the ones on the flat. It's going to be
not pleasant, because you can't get insurance for floods, can you? For crops.
No, just
It's
fire and hail. So.
Fire and hail's the only thing we can get insurance for here,
and premiums are all going through the roof with that. So it's, yeah, but no, it's I guess the tough times just makes you appreciate the good times. So if it was all good, you wouldn't appreciate them, would you? So that's part of farming. It's the ups and downs, and it's a bit of a roller coaster ride at sometimes, but it's all fun, all worth it.
That's what we tell ourselves. Yeah.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah.
But you just do what you can do, and you can't control the weather, so you just
no.
Yeah,
no. It's just I guess it's probably the most devastating thing is with the season. It was a wet season, and obviously challenges there, but because of the price of everything's gone up, the fertiliser and the all your input costs have gone right up. The crops were looking decent, and then to lose it all, for some fellas to lose it all like 2 weeks probably before harvest, is that's jolly tough. That that's yeah.
No, the input costs are nearly double. Well, fertiliser's double from last year. Fuel's probably 150% more. The chemicals probably about that too. So,
but coming off a last crop that was pretty bulky crop too, you've got a lot more nutrients you got to put into it. You know, like to get it to perform. So everyone probably put pretty well. I guess with the prices, they might have held back a bit, but a lot of people put a fair bit of input, like fertilisers and stuff, into it just to give it the best chance. So anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll catch you in the next one.